This video is to explain to you the basics of how to use the Math Learning Center app called Number Pieces. Number pieces are what many people call base 10 blocks, and so let's go over the basics. Notice that along the left-hand side here are the blocks, and down along the bottom strip are the tools that you can use. That's the same format as most of the apps that they make. So let me click on the first block and bring it up. As with all the blocks, you have an equation, or all the apps, you have an equation editor. And let me just put in a simple equation here. And I will say this is equal to 1 so that I can identify this as the whole. Not all of the apps have this feature, but this one does. Some of them do. It's a text editor, and I will say this is one whole. And if I do that, then I can place this right here. Okay, that's one whole, for example. I could say also that using my equation editor, this is equal to 1/10. Put that there. Value. It's very important. One of the most important ways to develop academic discourse in math is to label pieces. And labeling them with this equation is one form of discourse. Let me get another block out, and I will say, oh, I forgot. I want to add a text. I want to add a text label. This is a really powerful tool here, so I want to make sure I use it. This is equal to 1/10 because 10 equal pieces make a whole. Now, it's really important. In fact, I'm going to call this probably the best feature of this particular app, and that is that this allows you to attach a label, a text edited label to a piece. So now I have a piece, a block, a virtual block actually, and I have an equation, and I have a piece of text that goes with it. Super critical. This is a great way to improve student academic language. Okay, I'll do the exact same thing here that I've done to all the others, and I'll say that's equal to 1/100. Place my label, drag it over so it can make some sense. I'll make a text box. This is 1/100 because 100 equal pieces make a whole. Now, I know it's pretty obvious to teachers that what I'm really talking about here when I use these blocks are what most students refer to as decimals. But decimals are fractions. They're just fractions with denominators that have powers of 10. And if we've done a good job about establishing how to create unit fractions, then decimals become a much easier concept to teach. And right now what I have is let's see, I could change the color of that block, and I can change the color of that block. I can just say, oh, the yellow block is 1 whole, the green block is 1/10, and the red block is 1/100th. And each of those reasons is because for the green block, that's 1/10 because 10 of those equal sized pieces would make up a whole. And the same with the 1/100th block. This is 1/100th because 100 equal pieces make up a whole. Now, that's if you've established, first of all, a really solid understanding or ability of students to identify unit fractions, and then tell how many unit fractions it takes to make the whole. That's a really important concept, and That's what would turn fractions into decimals super easily. Okay, so now I've shown you quite a few of these tools down here, but I want to add, let's see, I'm going to choose a block that looks like this. By the way, let me go back and turn these back to their original colors. I just wanted a color there to help me. I'm going to highlight this block now. I'm going to use the duplicate and I'm going to lock it in place. Then if I want to highlight more than one, I can circle them like this, highlight them, duplicate. Now I have two, lock them in place, and finally I'll take that guy and I'll duplicate him and I'll lock that into place. And now what I'll do is I'll take this and I'll duplicate that, lock it into place, duplicate it again, lock it into place, duplicate it again, and one more time. And now here's the power, a really powerful part of this app. Now I can take the whole thing and move it around. I could duplicate that entire piece, move it down, duplicate it again, move it over. Hold on, let me stop there. Take that, whoa, let me highlight the entire piece here. Okay, now change its color. Alright, now, whoops, made a mistake there. Put that back into its place. Let's highlight the entire piece, move it over, duplicate it, move it down, and duplicate it one more time, move it over. Now I think it should be obvious that this piece right here, whoops, I didn't get the whole thing, got to get the whole thing in. This piece right here is the same as this piece over here. See how powerful it is? Don't let go of it because it's hard to get it back together here. Now, I'm going to, there I did the same thing again. You'll get used to it when you start using it. It's not hard to use. Okay, I'm going to turn that piece green. Okay, so now I want to put a value to this green piece here. So I'll use my text editor to put a value to it, and I'll say that that's equal to 25 100ths. And students could figure that out in a variety of ways. They might say, oh, I know that one of these is 1/100th, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 by 5 is 25. That's one way that they might figure it out. But there's more than one. They could skip count by fives. They could just say, oh, there's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Whatever they do, we'll have activities for them to figure out what's the value of these blocks right here. Okay, so I'm going to add a piece of text to that. I mean a text label. I'm going to say this is 25 100ths because there are 25 identical pieces with a value of 1/100th each. Now, okay, so hopefully when you see me writing like this, hopefully you're starting to see, you know, why it was so important for us to be able to build fractions using multiples of unit fractions. That's kind of a really, not kind of, it's a very critical piece of understanding fractions. Okay, so now what we've done is we've labeled this block as 25 100ths. We've compared it to the 1/100th. We've put a text label on it. Hopefully this is starting to become really clear how important it is, the labeling and the discussion around it. Okay, now I want to look at this piece right here. First thing, let's see, first thing that I want to do is to label this piece now using my equation editor. And I'm going to say that this is equal to 1/4. But why am I saying that it's equal to 1/4? I need a text label for that. This is 1/4 because one of the 4 equal pieces is colored green. That's the reason. So let me place this label right here. And now, okay. So students are accustomed to saying what value is green out of this whole here. And by the way, if you're doubtful about if it's 4 equal sized pieces, they can cut off these pieces and lay them on top and see. That's a really powerful tool. Now that I'm done with that portion of the, whoops, again, I always mess up silly things like that. If you want to move a whole bunch of things at once, put an outline around them, and then move them together. Turns them into a solid piece. All right, what will I do next? Oh, I've already done a lot, but let's do one other thing. I started up the pen tool, and the pen tool is really common. It's common to all of the apps. It's a really great tool. And so I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to, whoops, that's not what I wanted. I'm going to do this, and do this. And I'm going to help students to see that, oh yeah, this piece right here is equal to this piece right here. Up here it's called 25/100ths. And down here it's called 1/4. Okay. Turn that tool off. And now I'm going to add in another piece of text. And I'm going to write my piece of text down here. This means that 25/100ths has the same value as 1/4. Another way to say that is that 25/100ths is equivalent. Okay, now that I've made this label down here, I'm going to put it over to the side because it's not attached to a single piece. And I believe what I would like to do is change the color of it and let it be over there to the side. I like to shape it so that it makes more sense to me. And let's see. Maybe like that is better. Okay, so what have I done with this tool? I've done a whole lot, and it's a really powerful tool. More importantly, it's a powerful tool for developing academic discourse. It uses virtual manipulatives. It uses equation editors, numbers, symbols. It uses a text editor to communicate ideas. It uses a free form editor to write on the document. It's really great, and this could be the basis for a lot of activities. But we're not done yet. If you go down here, oh, by the way, I forgot. You can make this smaller by clicking on this. And now you have more room to work. And you could put out basically 4 times as much information as this. That's a really cool thing. I'm going to go back to the big piece, though. And I'm going to show you, over here this cool tool called Share. If I click on it, you can share it in several different ways. One is you can copy the image and paste it somewhere, or you could save the image to your hard drive. You can copy a link, making it accessible to anybody who has the internet, and you can enter a share code that you could also access through the app to look at this piece that I've created, this sheet of paper. So let's just say, for example, that I copy the link. Now I can paste that copied link into anything that I choose. For example, I could put it into my Google Classroom. I could send it in a Class Dojo to families. I could do anything I wanted with it. All right, so that's a really cool thing. Now, by the way, if you choose to share it using a share code, right here, if you get that share code right there, and you choose to share this document that way, then when kids open up their blank version, they can put in that share code, and that piece will automatically pop up for them. So it's a really, numerous ways to share this, make it available to students. Okay, this is a really robust tool. It has most of the tools, in fact, it has all the tools that we're accustomed to in this suite, but it has two really good extras, which is sharing and retrieving tools right there. So that's really cool. All right, I hope this has helped, and I will talk to you soon.